Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ball Not Court Podcast host Cortez Paul.
Along with my co-host Paul Mack.
I want to thank you folks for tuning in today and listening to the show. Basically, we cover basketball, football, NCAA, or anything that's related to current events with a humorous twist to it, at least. You can follow the podcast at BIOC Podcast at X or Twitter. We're also on Instagram at the same name, BIOC Podcast. You go to our YouTube channel, that's also BIOC Podcast. Our Facebook page is Balls Not Court Podcast. So if you could please just give us a like, shout, comment on any of those, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Balls Not Court Podcast. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Ball Not Court Podcast. Cortez Paul is here. As usual, Mr. Paul Matt. Good evening on this fine Sunday evening.
Hey, bright minds, man. We pretty much texted each other and we were like, "Hey, want to get a show in on a Sunday? Kind of get out ahead of everything." And he was looking to do it. I was looking to do it. So in less than a week, y'all getting two.
I know, man. Smart man. Yeah, we got a lot of content coming, so we figured it was be a good hit for NCAA, and then of course, also a good reason. I got final two home games for the Magic on Tuesday and Wednesday, so gonna be a busy man. So then of course Monday the big NCAA game that's happening. So we just figured hey, let's just catch the wave, ride a little bit, see can we get some
baby Sunday.
Yeah, man. It's Sunday.
That's it. Super Sunday.
Yeah, man. So I'm watching a little bit of basketball. NBA G League, the Osceola Magic is playing very well. So I was kind of keying in on that. So it's just been kind of a chill Sunday for the most part. But Saturday wasn't so chill. Right, Paul?
Listen. We'll get into it, bro. We could start. You want to start off with your Gators? Start off with your Gators.
Yeah. So we will start off with Florida Gators. So they was match up against the Auburn Tigers. Auburn Tigers been considered one of the better teams, just like Florida. Like I said, this SEC conference and hoops this year, which is funny. Usually you think SEC football, SEC hoops has been fantastic. Including these two teams that are playing. But Florida Gators was in a ball game again, and this was the Auburn Tigers. So they only went up 79-73. And, yeah, man, this game delivered some big moments. So all I can say is Walton Clayton Jr., man, that dude is a animal, dog, whatever adjective you want to use, description, animal, noun, place, person, thing. All I can say is that dude from Polk County, from Lake Wells, representing.
You Polk County boys sit together, huh?
Dude, that game was stressful, man, to watch. I'm not gonna lie. So Walter Clayton Jr. had 34 points, giving him the first consecutive 30-point games deep in his tourney since Larry Bird. Larry Bird, dude, he's done something that Larry Bird has done. Like, you know how cool that is to put your name in the same sentence as Larry Bird? Paul, man, what you thought about this game before I start breaking it down as well?
Yeah, I don't, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I don't watch a lot of college basketball. Like, it's just kind of one of those things. Like, when it's on, like there's always other stuff on. It's in the middle of kind of like NBA season. Like, I don't follow it like that. It's not as as big to me as like college football, where it just kind of takes over a Saturday and there's nothing else on, and you can just kind of lock in. So I've heard how good Florida was, and I've kind of just been eyeing them through the tournament and just hearing Walter Clayton, his story, man. Like, apparently he was a really good football player. He could have got a ton of scholarships to go play football, but he chose basketball, and he took the route where he went to a smaller school and then transferred to Florida. And talk about a kid who just, out to prove the world something, you know what I mean? All those schools that offered him football scholarships didn't think he was a good basketball player, and now he's out here looking like the best player in the tournament, outplaying the likes of Cooper Flagg and these highly touted, prospects that are out there. But both of these games are really good, man. Like, Auburn played really, really well. And it's what we expect, I think, when you have the 4 number ones in the Final Four. Like, these should all be competitive games. But Florida, man, they really put it on in the second half. This game was a tale of two halves, and I mean they really put it on Auburn in the second half, and Clayton Jr. dropping 34, going 11 of 18, 5 of 8 from 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough, man. I mean, Auburn's got some studs too, but at the end of the day, Florida was the better team, and my busted bracket doesn't look as bad with Florida making it to net. They were my pick when this all started to win the national title, so I have that going for me. The rest of it kind of fell apart pretty fast, especially after the second game here. But just kudos to the Gators, man. I feel like when the Gators are good at college basketball, like the world's in a good place. I remember those Gator teams back in the 2000s.
Yeah,
when the Gators are hooping, man, it's fun. And on the same weekend where Billy Donovan's getting into the Basketball Hall of Fame, just shout out to the Gators, man.
Yeah, man. So for the most part, I'm Paul. I'm with you 1%, man. This is why some of my friends, including Kevin Carter, contributed to the show, and always, the OG helped start this bad boy. It was on me, man. Like telling me for months, Cortez, watch this team. You will appreciate them. Watch this team. And I just, like I said, I travel a lot to go to Magic games on the road. I'm a season ticket holder, so the times I can watch them is very slim. So I got to catch them very slightly. But there's a few I started watching in like February, and I was like, okay, this team is pretty doggone good. And they got a lot of depth, man. Even like, looking at this team, they just got so much talent, going from Will Richard, like the dunk that happened last night from Elijah, man. Like that dunk over 2 Auburn players was insane. They still got from what I have read on is that their front court is supposed to be returning. So Thomas Ball, who grew up on Tim Tebow and having these moments and being there, member to Tim Tebow and Gator and the Noah and Horford teams, him making his imprint on this team now, it's just cool to watch. But I'm with you, Paul. It's like I haven't really watched much this year. I do know Auburn, like the Joni Broome kid. Mm-hmm. He was the SEC player of the year. He apparently talking to a few of my Gator guys. He didn't look so well last time they match up. He remembered. He came out looking great. And I just felt like when Florida started pushing the ball, because they didn't do it in the first half, when they started pushing the ball, every time they got a rebound, they was gone. Like once they made a track meet, those Auburn boys got tired fast. And I think that's the thing that kind of caught them early, because in the first half, like Auburn had the pace, they was physical, and there's a lot there. Florida's got a lot of size, but Auburn got a lot of size to match up with them, so they wouldn't win on the board. So, and Florida still had this issue with turning over the ball. But once again, man, they found a way to get the ball in Walton Clayton Jr. hands. Like, even there was a point, this dude scored 13 of his 23 points in the final 8 minutes to get this win. But just looking at like this talent that they have, like I said, Elijah Martin, who's the only player Elijah Martin, the only player to play in Final Fours, two different teams, with Florida International and then the Florida Gators. So just kudos to this, watching them. Alex Condon has not been looking great, but they're going to need him against this next matchup. And so just seeing these teams, like there's a record of 14 SEC teams that made up in the NCAA tournament, and 7 got to the Sweet 16 before half of the Elite 8, and then the Final Four are filled with 2 number 1 seeds. And the thing I want to criticize about some people, because I know some people complain that, oh, we don't have the underdog story. We don't have the Cinderella. Well, folks, you have 2 great games because 4 number 1 seeds was in the game. Screw the Cinderella. You get great basketball here. And then we got a great meme from Chuck, which I love this, by the way. Chuck loses in San Antonio after messing with the San Antonio women. So San Antonio get the last laugh here for a little bit. His Auburn Tigers loses in San Antonio, and Chuck is over there going through it like he has probably made a bet too. But on top of that, seeing Charles Barkley going through the emotions when Walton Clare Jr. and all this Florida Gators team, this guy who's leading the charge, and you see Charles Barkley over there having a panic attack because his Auburn Tigers is losing, and it's happened in San Antonio. So I am hoping that when Chuck is walking around, the Riverwalk, that these women of San Antonio with their churros are rubbing in his face with cinnamon all over their cheeks.
I know you're eyeballing Clayton Jr. here too. I know you wouldn't mind him in a Magic jersey, huh? A little hometown.
So, here's the thing. Before I saw this tournament kind of kicked off, because I have saw the name and saw what I knew who he was. Like I was sitting there like Kevin watching him. So I'm like, man, this dude can ball. But I'm like, okay. So I just want to see where he was mocked at. There was one point this dude was mocked at 56 in the second round. Surely he's not there anymore now. He's got to be mid-lottery, which I see now he's in the mid-lottery or out a little bit of lottery. But people are scared of these senior guards. But I tell you what, Orlando doesn't need to get any younger. Why not drive a senior that already got to figure it out? Paul, this dude give me Jameer Nelson vibes. Jameer Nelson was a National Player of the Year too.
Mm-hmm.
So why not him? And then also on top of that, if he does go in the second round, guess who else came from the second round who's a pretty good NBA player? What's the All-Star last few years? He happened to play for your New York Knicks.
It's true.
He's a big-time college player too.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Y'all got to stop sleeping on these seniors, man. Okay, for a team like the Wizards or somebody like that, okay, yeah, they got time to develop somebody. So, yeah, you can drive like an underclassman and let them get the experience in the NBA. That's fine. Orlando's at a crossroad that they need to get some talent. This dude can shoot, and he is a killer, and he can get clutch baskets. So you tell me that Paolo Banchero can drive to the rim, and he has a Walton Clare Jr. out there ready to make a big-time shot. Jameer Nelson did this all the time with Dwight Howard. I'm fiending for that dude. I hope Orlando found a way to get him. But now I'm laughing because Magic fan was like, oh, trade the pick. Now they all going like, oh, we should try to get Walton Clayton Jr. Make up your damn minds, Orlando Magic fans. Stop switching all the damn time. But I think like
we kind of harped on it last week too. I think like with NIL and all these things that are going to keep some of these kids in college longer. I think it's going to be hard to kind of overlook the seniors at this point because there's going to be a lot of kids who are going to. I mean, look at the development from just this guy's college career. You know what I mean? Like he was on a small school, transferred to Florida, gotten better, and he's having his best season as a senior. His stock is way up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
they're going to payday for himself. You're right.
So it's just one of those deals where you can't overlook that. And like, yeah, you can take shots at these sophomores coming out and stuff like that, but there's going to be a developmental period. There's going to be, a whole bunch of stuff that happens. And like to get a kid who's big time like this, who's played in, who's about to play for the national championship. Like that's huge, man. Like he's been, playing lights out all tournament, all season pretty much. And to be able to have the opportunity to draft just a developed talent like that it kind of reminds you kind of how the NBA used to be. Like there was a lot of these older guys that would come out, and it's just, they're just so overlooked now because you just look for the flash in the pan hype train that comes out of, after their freshman year. But no, man, I think and that's the thing too, especially when you're a team, like Orlando, who needs shooting. Like, so to be able to draft shooting is probably easier than trying to just kind of find it in the league with, different stuff. To be able to get a rookie contract and get a guy that can shoot, I think it's good for the cap. I think it's good. I mean, you have to worry about maybe the Magic would be too guard heavy probably with some of the contracts that they have going for him. But I mean, if he's available, but there's a lot of good talent out there right now, man. The college pool seems pretty deep, and we'll get to that when we talk about this next game. But there's some shooters out there, bro.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, Orlando's got to pay these two guys. So why not draft someone like a Walton Clayton Jr. And then there's this kid that is from UConn, and he played for Mount Verde Academy. I'm blanking on his name right now, but they was talking about him, and he's supposed to be really good too. So he played with Cooper Flagg. So, I mean, if you can get shooting, man, and you can try to cut the cost, I mean, why not? Why not? So that's why I say I'm on board there. But no, listen, I'm gonna show some love to Auburn. Auburn, if you look at their strength of schedule for the year, it was like eighth. Second. The second strength of schedule. Auburn had second. Their non-conference strength of schedule was 8. So Auburn, from one of the time, like why they was ranked that high, because their schedule was incredibly tough, man. And so I am glad Florida won, but to be fair, and I gotta be this way, is that Chad Baker-Mazara and Johnny Brune had injuries before in the game before playing Michigan State. So like they was battling injury. Like Brune right elbow got bent awkward in the second half playing against them, and then Chad Baker-Mazara was wearing some kind of like brace and wearing like his thumb was partially wrapped. So kids are tough. Both of them tough as nails to play through the pain and draw their team here. So Auburn was no slouch, man. Like you gotta show them some love. Even though we came back and did what we supposed to do, and you got a killer in Walter Clayton Jr. did his thing, but those two players are going to have productive NBA careers. I feel like Baker-Mazara is going to be like a nice little glue guy, and Broomy is going to be nice as well too. Like that, he's got the size, enough to kind of do a pick and pop, and he can rebound very well too. So I had to show Auburn some love, man. Like these 2 games, man, has been fantastic. Let's move on to the next one, because I know you want to talk about this. So Duke and Houston in a classic, I must say, Paul.
Classic for sure. Yeah, instant classic.
So give me your one word to kind of describe the game. Like before we go in there, this was a game that Duke was up for a bit, and I'll get into it a little bit before I go in there. And the final score ended up being 70-67, where Houston came back and won the game. So your thoughts about the game, and tell me what you because I thought for sure Duke was going. I thought Duke had this in the bag.
Just there's a one word. This is just tough. Tough because Houston just tough as nails hanging in there, and just a tough one for Duke. I mean, they were up there's a video going around where, there was a minute left in that game or something, and they had like a 90% win odds. And just as time went down, it just shifted so much. And, seeing Cooper Flag, like Duke, for one, like Duke is stacked. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to hear about Cooper Flag, sure, but like Kneppel's really good. Malowak's really good. And then you got Cooper Flag on top of that. But the Houston Cougars, man, they are a tough, tenacious team, and they lead with defense. I think they're like the number 1 or number 2 scoring defense in college basketball.
They're up there, man.
Yeah, they're just a feisty team. They force turnovers, as you saw late in that game. They made some plays. People are going to harp on the Cooper Flag foul there at the end, but I mean, Houston was just way more aggressive, and that's how it goes. Just hats off to Calvin Sampson. Guy's kind of college journey's been all over the place, and Houston is one of those teams where I think they have like the most Final Fours without a national championship. So for them to finally get there and seeing Hakeem Olajuwon in the crowd and all the Houston faithful out there, I mean, it was crazy to watch, man, because like I had it on in the background. I was doing some other stuff, and I had it on in the background, and then I really kind of locked in because there was a point where Duke was up like 11. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is a wrap. And then I just kept kind of glancing, and the lead just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And then I just stopped what I was doing and just locked in and watched the last like 2 minutes of that game. And just, man, college basketball is a crazy game, bro. Like,
yeah,
it's
you're
crazy.
Right, man. Yeah,
like I know sometimes the last 2 minutes of an NBA game can just feel like an eternity. But like the last 2 minutes of this game just felt like it was playing in slow-mo. And it just big play, big shot, big rebound, big tip. Every play was huge, regardless of who was making it. And, it just almost seemed like Houston was that led by defense, bro. I mean, they only gave up 33 points in the second half. Cooper Flag had an okay game, shot 8 of 19, 27 points. But LJ Cryer for Houston showed out, bro. 40 minutes on the court, played the whole game, didn't come out. 26 points, 5 boards. Just hit some really big shots late in the game. And it's just, here you are.
It's a lot, so I need my savings to last. Okay, let's plan.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I tell you, I was sitting there and watching it myself, and I feel like this is the thing. They force turnovers very well, and to me, when it comes to that, and that's what scared me when they play. And we'll get into the whole Florida Houston matchup here in a minute. But to me, that's why I said I feel like that Cooper Flag undoubtedly is the best player in NCAA basketball right now. I was a little disappointed in their center. Mala, like he didn't get no rebounds, and this is a guy who's a rebound machine. And so I was a little disappointed in him not getting some more rebounds. But I personally feel like that. What they went on there was a point where Houston scored like 9 points straight, like 9 points straight. So for all that to happen was just, I was just shocked, man, because it seemed like you said, I wasn't watching either. I had it in the background. I kind of had it up, and I was just kind of watching. I was like, man, I gotta go to bed. I gotta work in the morning. And I was like, son told me like, lock in. And kid you not, man, they took off, man. So I was definitely shocked how it happened. For me, that's why I say I'm just in amaze how Duke seem to have these moments, man, where they get all the way there, and then you just have a moment like they're gonna mess up. They always do this, bro. They just find a way to mess up, and they just mess up. And I say this. I know everybody was kind of say the call on Cooper Flag. What's it a foul? What's not a foul? A little debatable, but it shouldn't have gotten to that point. It shouldn't have got to that point, in my opinion. And it got to that point. So Duke was in control, and they just kind of just let it slip up a little bit.
Foot off the gas, man. Foot off the gas. And with a seasoned head coach and a defense like that, I mean, that's what happens, man. You're never out of a game when you can play defense. And the shooting as well. I mean, they made 10 threes. It's just it was rough, man. I knew when they were just getting out hustled that last minute of the game, and when they had that tip that kind of got them down one, I was like, oh, this game's over. This game's over. And then they got fouled, got up, hit some free throws, got up 3, and then no timeouts, 3-4 seconds left, whatever it was. Oh, this game's over. No shot. But it's just, I'm glad I caught the end of it, because that's one that we're going to be talking about for a while, depending on especially with how Cooper Flag's career is going to go and all that stuff. We're gonna really look back and think about this game, for a shot at the national championship. I'm sure America would have loved Cooper Flag in the national championship. I'm sure the boosters, everybody, ESPN, everybody would have loved some Cooper Flag in the national championship. But instead, we got Houston and Florida.
That's why you play the games. And people complain, talking about Auburn and Duke were the best teams and didn't make it. Man, they play the number one teams, man. This ain't no fluke. The rest of the stuff that happens early on could be a fluke. But these are the number one ranked teams, all of them in their conference. They all went through the whole warpath and made it there. So to sit here and say that the best team didn't make it, baloney. At this point now, all these teams are number one. They're ranked. Execution and trying to execute in the clutch is one of the most difficult things to do in basketball. You have to handle the press. You have to not turn over the ball. You have to make your free throws. And you have to rebound the ball pretty well. This is things that you have to do in the clutch. This is stuff this is pretty common. And if you don't do those very well, which Duke didn't, Auburn didn't at the time, the results that you're going to get. This is why I'm harping on the whole thing. Well, please, Florida, take care of the ball, because Houston press.
Mm-hmm.
Houston will put some pressure on you. And hello, this is the same company that you played Texas Tech, and Texas Tech was up against you. You get a better defensive team in Houston, man. You better not sleep on them. I feel like Walter Clayton Jr. need to show up, but I need Alex Condon to show up. I need the big Ozzy to show up, because he's been invisible the last few games. So what you expect out this championship game that's going to happen Monday here?
Well, thanks to Duke, my bracket is dead. So I did have Duke, Florida for the national championship. So I'm still gonna roll with Florida, but Houston kind of changes my perspective a little bit. And it does seem like it could be a scary matchup, just seeing how aggressive and physical Houston is. They're very physical, very aggressive, body on body. Everyone crashes the boards. They're trying to push. They're trying to force turnovers. It just reminds you of those just old school college teams, man. They're real. They're just, I don't know. It just reminded me of a time where those 2000 Gators, those teams where it's just everyone is just body on body pressing. They're not afraid of contact. They're not afraid to, if they foul you, whatever. But I just think when you're a team like Florida or a team like Duke and you're up against a top 5 defense in the country, that's because you have to think, is the game plan kind of the same? It seemed like Houston was okay with Cooper Flag. Let Cooper Flag try to beat you. I mean, that was that. Cooper Flag had his game, but only one other guy got double figures. You keep the game close, grind it out. Meanwhile, 3 guys got double figures for Houston. So it's just, that's probably gonna be the similar game plan. Is can Walter Clayton Jr. beat you, and who's gonna be the number 2 guy? Who's gonna hit shots for Florida? Like you said, they got the other guy that has to show up for him, who didn't show up this last game, only had a point. So we're gonna need to see him step up.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of need to do better, man.
Yeah. So like
I need to do better.
So it's just that's the situation where it's just I think this game's going to come down to coaching, and it's going to come down to just heart and who wants it more. And I think this is one of those games where talent may not necessarily win you a national title. I think the team that just wants it more is going to take it, and it's going to be a fun one, man. I'm going to be locked in. I'm off tomorrow. I get to kind of chill out all day, and I'm gonna engage in this national title game. I love a good national title game, so I'll be watching. I got Paramount Plus ready.
Nice, man. This Cryer and Clayton Jr. matchup is going to be fun to watch. That's going to be a fun matchup to watch. Elijah Martin going to really have to show out too. Like you said, it's got to be these other guys that step up and make plays. Florida defense is good too. Not as good as Houston, but Florida has a top 5 offense. So it's just like I told you, Florida just got to control the turnovers. Clayton Jr. can get a little sloppy at times with turnovers. It's my only concern. Florida in general can get a little sloppy with turnovers. So you get them turnovers and they get easy buckets and get on the break. It's a problem. But I know Florida like to play at a pace that's a little bit quickened. So that's why that's probably why they turn the ball a little bit too much, because they pace is it's a little frantic at times. So 1.5 favorites, Florida. It's a very small margin.
Very small.
But very small margin there. So
I imagine by game time that line's going to be even smaller probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was around a point or just a pick-em situation. I think I think Houston. I think people are going to realize how good Houston is defensively, and I wouldn't be surprised if people start pumping Houston closer to that game. I mean, Duke was 4.5 at tip in this one. You know what I mean? And look at that. That's rough. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that dropped down to like a point. I think this game's gonna be real competitive. The only thing you got to worry about, I guess, is Cryer's coming off a lot of minutes, and that was a very just emotional game for Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So those typically go one of two ways. Either you got a ton of momentum going into the national title, or you're gonna have a little bit of a hangover. I think. But
it's gonna be tired.
Yeah, man. I mean, you only have the day off in between. Obviously, it's going to be a later game, so it's almost like a day and a half rest, I guess. But we'll see, bro, because I'm excited. Like I said, I still got Florida to win the national title. I got them, and I picked a low score too. I think I got it like under like 140, 145, something like that. So I think it's going to be a nice little kind of grind them out game, and it may come down to the final possession, man. We'll see.
Okay. So good stuff on that. Let's transition, because in San Antonio, there are some recognizable folks that got honored. We had two players that are close and to our heart, me and Paul, that led a class of 2025 for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. Paul, you speak on Carmelo Anthony. He's one that led the class, and then Dwight Howard is right behind him. So talk to me about Carmelo Anthony and what he means to you as a Knicks fan, and just in general.
I mean, for me, like even in college, right? Like rooting for the New York teams, like him at Syracuse as a freshman, winning the national title. Like I mean, he was my favorite player coming out of that draft. Obviously, you have all the LeBron heads and all that stuff, but for me, like Carmelo has just been a guy that I've really appreciated. I love the way he plays, his physicality, and obviously when I had the opportunity to see him play for the Knicks, the things he did for New York, the seasons he had, the potential that the Knicks had. The end of his career, it is what it is, but just one of the greatest Olympians we've ever had on the men's side in basketball, 3-time gold medalist. Just lights out in the Olympics. This guy was a monster for us, for Team USA. Every time he's on the court, the memes, hoodie Mello, Some of the best just off-season hype videos of all time of just him in a gym, just putting up plays, bro, just getting you excited. But it's awesome for me, man, because like he's one of those guys. Like I think he's 10th all time in scoring, and I think he's just someone that could kind of easily be forgotten with as LeBron's career goes on, and he's playing in his 40s, and he's just been doing it for so long that, and the fact that Carmelo never got a championship, it's tough. But like I said, he's gonna be one of our generation, of like this current generation, aside from all these young guys coming out, but like of that like LeBron class, man, like what a talent, and just huge congratulations, man, because he put Knicks basketball kind of back in a good place for a little bit, and here we are now with making the runs we're making now with Brunson and these guys. But just I couldn't be happier for a guy, and it's cool when we're at this age now where guys that we kind of grew up watching are making it into the Hall of Fame, and it's like, oh snap, like, all right, I remember this guy, let's go. So it's cool because like I said, Vince Carter got in it last year or whatever, and it's like I remember Vince, but like I was also like younger, and I got to watch basketball, and he was one of my favorite players growing up. But like, it's different when you're in your 20s and 30s, and you're kind of really able to lock in and understand basketball, and they really appreciate the way it's played. And just to see a guy that, filled up your young adult life, make it into the Hall of Fame, just shout out Melo, bro. Shout out Melo.
As you know, they probably call him one of the best Olympians to play the game. But Carmelo, man, like I said, just fun player to watch. Still, to me, and this is my opinion, so I don't know how other people feel, but I feel like he's the best freshman NCAA basketball player to ever play the game as well. Come out there and won and done, and won a national title. Like, that dude is insane. So seeing him make the Hall of Fame, doing it with the mid-range and the deadly step and the post and fade, and Carmelo just was in his bag, man. So it was definitely cool to watch. So I'm not going to speak as much as Paul on it, but I know I'm very happy for Carmelo. So it's just, the dude just embraced New York. And so, I know he initially with the Nuggets, and he still swears to this day that the Nuggets, if they would have matched up in the Magic NBA Finals, we would have beat the Nuggets. Sorry, buddy. So, but no, all love, shout out to him and everything like that. So then Dwight Howard also made it, and I can speak on Dwight. Dwight Howard is an 8-time All-Star, was a 2020 champion with the Lakers, was a 3-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Like, to do that back to back is insane. And this was a guy that I literally had a story on where I was in Tennessee working at a summer camp, and so I didn't get to watch the draft that year. But I know it was a big year for the Magic, to pick somebody. And I remember that in my dorm at the time, that I had Emeka Okafor posters ready, hanging up. This guy played for UConn. This dude's champion. Like, that's who I wanted. I want to keep T-Mac around. And Tracy said I wanted Okafor too. Good thing Tracy's not a GM. So I remember getting a paper in Tennessee one morning because I missed the draft because I had to go to bed at crack of dawn and be up and do these little kind of thing I had to do for this summer camp. Get the paper and see that we got Dwight Howard as our potential franchise player. Wasn't happy at the time. When I got back, started watching a little video, watched what he did in the summer league. I'm like, okay, well, this dude might have something. He was kind of built like KG at the time. I was like, okay, you can be like KG, cool. But then 2 years later, this dude just got jacked.
Straight up.
It's just straight up jacked, man. So, and then he still had that little goofy kind of kid mentality about him. So this is a guy that was a year younger than me, So it's always, like you said, it's crazy that you see this now. These guys get in the Hall of Fame. Like, man, we're getting old, dude. But no, Dwight,
And one of the last high school guys, right? One of the last guys to go straight from high school.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. But Dwight has meant so much to the Magic, and like seeing him being inducted to the Magic Hall of Fame. I know I spoke on this a few weeks ago. Was very cool, man, and he was very humble about it, and he didn't know how to feel, man, because he didn't know the divorce between him and the Magic ended on sour terms, and for them
as most do, it seems like.
Yeah, unfortunately, but they reconcile and everything is good. And most of Magic fans, I know there's a few that's out there that don't really like him because I get it. That's why I can't criticize him just because Dwight was their Shaq. So I still can't stand Shaq this day, but Shaq just make it easy not to like him because he's still crap and do stupid stuff that makes you get on his nerves. But this ain't about Shaq. It's about Dwight. Dwight, a fantastic career. Men is in, and then he just had a perfect 2 weeks here, man. He make his amends for Orlando, and he get inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. And he's very humble about it. And it's just cool to see, man. Like Dwight versus Shaq, how they handling this is just night and day. And he's very appreciative. And he meant so much to Orlando Magic basketball. And I know he went elsewhere. He went to the Rockets and he went to go play for the Lakers, Atlanta, and he bounced around quite a bit. Philly. There's a few other teams he went to, but you recognize the Dwight Howard career. You recognize Orlando Magic. Like, at least for Shaq, for the standpoint, yeah, he was drafted by Orlando, but you recognize him as a Laker. You know Dwight Howard as an Orlando Magic player, like, for the most part. So this is what, if it wasn't for Dwight, dude, and I tell a lot of people this, there was a rumor that if we didn't get that arena built, Orlando's going to be playing in Kansas City. So
Missouri Magic?
Yeah. Kansas City Magic, bro. It was literally a rumor that they was gonna move to Kansas City. So Dwight Howard literally saved this franchise because there was rumors that this team was going to move, and so it's just I'm grateful for Dwight in a lot of ways, man, and I appreciate what he has done for the game of basketball. He got snubbed being a top 75 player, which is ridiculous, which a lot of people thought that was ridiculous. But guess what? The dude's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You can't take that away from him. So. Hell of a career. Looking forward to see him being embraced by the city more. He's been an advocate of telling Paulo to stay, which Paulo's gonna get paid his first contract, and we got to make the moves and make sure he stay. I owe it up now. Like, hey, you got 8 years with talent, build around them, and then they can leave if we don't build around them. So, but no, Dwight Howard, one hell of a career, and looking forward to him. The other people that got also inducted was Sue Bird, Maya Moore, Sylvia Flowers, Chicago Bulls, and two-time NCAA champion with the Florida Gators, Billy Donovan, Miami Heat, Mickey Arson, and NBA referee Danny Crawford.
And the entire Redeem team.
How cool is that, man? How cool is that? So
the whole team, bro. They literally are inducting an entire Olympic team into the Hall of Fame. The 2008 U.S. Men's Olympic team.
This is a great class, by the way. I know Dwight.
Shout out to the women, huh? Shout out to the women.
Yeah, man. I know Dwight and Carmelo highlight this class, but Sue Bird, one of the best passing guards I see playing in the WNBA and women basketball in general. Like, she was crazy with the passes. Maya Moore can score with the best of them. Girl was just a straight up bucket, man. So, like, yeah, just a lot of talent coming in here. Billy Donovan, what he had with the Gators, the longevity, even after that. I know we talk about the Al Horford and Joakim Noah teams, but, you know, Maurice Spates went through there as well. Bradley Beal went through there as well. There was talent that went through Florida, and Billy Donovan was a big part of that. People want to go play under Billy. So, it's just cool to see like some of this talent and showing love for him. You know, it was cool to see, man. Like, so him getting honored. Now, much as I don't like the Heat, Mickey Arison is a fantastic owner. He put them in position for them to be in contention and getting titles, and was able to orchestrate the big three between Wade and Bosh and LeBron James. And so he just a people's owner. So I have nothing bad to say about Mickey Arison. Like he's a great owner. But he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame as well. So Danny Crawford was an excellent referee. Sylvia Flowers was a fantastic WNBA player as well, too. So this is a strong class. This is a very strong class, by the way.
I think it just shows, too. I think it really shows the growth of the WNBA. Because, I mean, a lot of these players have been out of the league since it's kind of blown up. Like, obviously, a lot of their eyes have come in the last few seasons, obviously, with Caitlin Clark and all that stuff. So just I don't think people realize how good like Sue Bird and Maya Moore were. I mean, I'm pretty sure Maya Moore only played like 6-7 seasons. She wasn't around for very long. And I mean, she's a 4-time champ, 6-time All-Star, MVP of the league in 2014. And that's
hell of a college career,
a national champion, 2 national titles in college basketball.
She's a boss, dude.
2 Olympic gold medals, 2 FIBA World Cup medals. I mean, that's as good as a career as you can have. And it's just like that's wild stuff, bro. Like that is a hell of a career. And I'm sure you had the privilege of like watching that Redeem Team documentary they had on Netflix.
Yes.
What a team, bro. Led by Kobe. What a team, bro. Getting USA basketball back on the map after a really bad, outing in the Olympics prior.
Yeah.
Coach K, all those guys, it's just this is a really good class, man. This is a really good Hall of Fame class. Wide range all around. So just, shout out to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. I think they really got it. They really nailed it this time. And I think it's just, there's a lot of guys that are going to get in, but it's just nice when you look at the class and you look at the accolades of all these inductees, and it's just, yeah, okay.
Good deal,
they got
man.
it right.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the playoff picture here for the East and the West. It's kind of a few bit of shuffling over here that's going on. Lakers with a big win, man. They stomped the Thunder.
Yeah, they did.
And they're sitting 3, but that's why I said this game that's playing on tonight between Houston and Golden State. This is gonna be a matchup too. So where do you kind of see? Because you got Houston, who's number 2. So Houston made a jump. And so you got Lakers, Nuggets, the Warriors, and the Timberwolves, like one game apart. And then, wow, if you look, and then the Clippers is in this as well, too. So you got a 5-team bunch up right here. What you think about this whole 5-team bunch up right here?
I think the more impressive thing we have to really look at is the fact that the Dallas Mavericks are somehow in the play-in. I mean, they've gone the last few months with barely enough guys to even suit up and play, and here they are at 10, with a chance to actually get into the postseason, which is crazy. Especially coming off the Luka trade and just injuries, losing Kyrie Irving. Shout out Jason Kidd. Because he almost had to suit up, I feel like, for a minute. They just didn't have anybody to play. But I think the Western Conference, considering how things started, I think the real only surprise, I think, is the Golden State Warriors sitting at 5. I didn't expect them to be 46-31. I would have thought they were more of a play-in team. But I had Minnesota very highly regarded for when the season started based off of how their year went last year. The Nuggets started off real slow. They're sitting at 4. And Houston. I mean, I know Oklahoma City's going to get all the credit and all the flowers and everything else. They're sitting at 64-14, but the Houston Rockets, number 2 seed out west. Young team. Feisty team.
Yeah. I say this. I'm not mad about losing against Houston no more. They're good, man. They're good. They're good.
They
So,
are
like,
good.
Al Sagoon is having one hell of a year leading that team. And then you got Fred VanVleet, who is the veteran. And then they got these pieces, Jalen Green. And you just sit here and look how this team is combined. And, like, Ime Udoka is just doing a fantastic job. This team is just so sound defensively. They're going to be a threat and really can make some noise. But this is what I like about the West, man, because the West, I'm telling you, man, like the way this is falling, how this can be, man, like, listen, a 7 seed can be a 2 seed. Like, it's going to be chaotic. Like, but look, there's going to be a point that the Rockets are going to either play. I mean, if it stands as it was today, they could be playing the Clippers or the Grizzlies, which is not easy. It's not an easy playoff series, man. So that's going to be insane. Then you look at, like, the Timberwolves that can probably play the Lakers. People think the Lakers are going to win it all, which is beyond nuts. But
Lakers Bob.
I just feel like they don't have the big man to really go far. Like, we'll get to the playoff break off that. But yeah, the West is gonna be fun, man. Like, I look at the play-in for, like, the West. Clippers was 46 wins. The East, you got the Magic, that's got 38 wins. Just the talent disparity compared to the East and the West is just night and day, man. It's just really night and day.
And the play-in the East is tough too because, like, you know, win and get in, but it's like if you're the Magic, like, you beat Atlanta, your consolation prize is now you get to play Boston in the first round. And if you're the Bulls or the Heat, like, you get Cleveland. I mean, or if you lose, well, you have to go two ways. So if whoever loses the Magic gets another shot. So if Orlando was to lose and go up against either the Bulls or the Heat, then their consolation prize is Cleveland. And I feel like they'd much rather play Cleveland. I don't know how you feel about it. Would you rather go against Cleveland or would you rather play against Boston?
I will tell you this. They match up better against Boston. But regardless of who we play, in my opinion, I'll tell you what, I would be a cocky Magic fan. We had Jalen Suggs and Mo Wagner. I don't have them. So I got to be a 7 that, hey, either team that we play between the Cavs or the Celtics, gentlemen sweep. And for that, the point being, Paul, I just want my team to get to the playoffs. I want Paolo and Franz to experience Boston. I want Boston, bro, because I want them to experience a Boston crowd on the road in the playoffs. They've been through Cleveland already. Go to Boston, dude. Go to that. No, you want to experience a crowd and try to win the game up there in the postseason? Do that. Do that. Because that crowd up there is different during postseason. They are different. It was crazy when I was up there for regular season games up there 10 years ago. During the postseason, they are nuts. I don't know, bro. Basketball in those areas when they're winning, like Toronto, Boston, Philly, New York, it's a different energy up there. Your Knicks, you know how it is. The Knicks up there when it's in the Magic get crazy, but on the road,
yeah, the Knicks will go. Knicks will go buy out the opposing team's arena, bro. There'll be more Knicks fans than there will be anybody else. You saw how we did Philly last year.
It is crazy, man. So that's why I'm saying, like, I want Orlando to get Boston because it seemed like I wanted them to experience that crowd. I want to get the best players. I want them to get a team that shoot the three at a high volume like that and learn how to guard that, and then learn how to play against Jason Tatum and prepare for them for like a series. Prepare for them. So to me, I want Boston because it helps Paolo and Franz in their preparation when they eventually try to advance and move in their NBA career. So yeah, I like the shot at Boston.
I like the way Paolo's playing right now. I'd almost want to see him go against Boston. He's just playing real physical, real aggressive. And I feel like he can kind of give Boston some fits. It's a matter of like, who's going to cover him, who's going to put on him, because he's going to he's drawing fouls now. He's not afraid to get to the rim. He's getting to the foul line. He's not settling for the three like he was when he first came back from injury. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, hopefully, Franz keeps doing what he's doing, and you seem to have found some shooting a little bit, which has been huge for you guys. I mean, Caleb Houston's doing really well.
ACP
can any time now. I feel like he's gonna start knocking down shots, but he is a really good defender. I mean, you never know. Like I said, it's the playing on the Eastern Conference side is kind of like whatever, because again, it's you're either gonna play Boston, or you're gonna play Cleveland, and those are two teams that have just dominated the competition. I know this being a Knicks guy that we haven't beat either of those teams all year, so we got a big old goose egg against those two teams. So I know how good they are. But if you have a young team and you're trying to build something, I would think probably going to Boston would probably be your best just experience all around, just to get those guys to feel postseason basketball.
Yeah, I say this too, Paul, and I rather Paulo and Franz go against driving lanes against Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis instead of Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. I've seen that already, and it's not fun. Even though we took them to 7 games, it's not fun. And they are the best post defense. So I want to see like Cleveland play somebody like Atlanta, like a Trae that can spread them out. A Ty Hero that can get hot, a Kobe White that can get hot, and a Vooch that can do pick and pop too. So like bring someone out there. Wendell Carter Jr. can do that, but he's not hitting up threes like that. Vooch is a 3-point threat, and I've seen that personally. You have too. Vooch is a 3-point threat that he can bring Jared Allen out too, and he rebounds very well. So you won't have the rebound problem as well too. So
we know the Bulls too. And we know the Bulls ain't scared to at least shoot threes.
No,
they're going to shoot them.
They're not. And then you look at Dyson Daniels too. Imagine him playing someone like Donovan Mitchell, the Great Barrier Thief is what they call his nickname.
It's a great name. What a nickname!
This is an awesome nickname. So imagine him, trying to like just a series, like he's got to guard Garland or one of those guys. And then if he was to play Boston, how he's going to play Tatum or how he's going to play Jaylen Brown. Like, so low key, man, like all these playing teams have a chance and have a legitimate reason why they should be in there. So I just need Orlando not to mess around with this, win the first game, play Boston, get some rest, get it over with. I'm not trying to go 2 playing games. That's just heart-wrecking for me. Please.
I'm not going to lie to you. The Pistons scare me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that 3-6 matchup, Knicks and Pistons. Like, obviously we have home court, which is great, but like Cade Cunningham's a problem.
Would you rather play the Bucks though?
I'd rather play Doc Rivers in the postseason than
Good answer.
Good answer. It's you know how it goes, bro. Playing a team who's got nothing to lose. Like no one thought Detroit would be here. Those are the scariest teams, dude. Those are the scariest teams to play against. You know what I mean? And like Brunson's playing his first game back tonight. So he's kind of getting eased back in, but it's just the pressure that they play defensively and just the way that Cade Cunningham can pressure you on offense with just the way he handles the ball and he gets everybody else involved. Malik Beasley's knockdown 3-point shooter. Tobias Harris can get hot. Like it's just one of those.
Can I add one, Paul?
Yeah.
Tim Hardaway Jr. Redemption Tour.
That's it, bro. You know what I mean? Jalen Duren is not. Jalen Duren is a physical big man. Like, I mean, Knicks can still take it, but that's going to be like, I think it's going to be one that kind of stretches out a little bit. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think it'll be for a first round matchup. Like that might go like 6 games. You know what I'm saying? Like that has potential to stretch out, especially like postseason in Detroit. Like Isaiah Stewart on the other team, like he's ready to just kill somebody.
And the Knicks players are feisty too. They run their mouth too. So there's going to be plenty of fights. I was hoping to see like the Pacers and the Pistons play because those teams don't like each other.
No, but
They don't like each other.
but Milwaukee and Indiana got some history too now. They don't like each other either.
Yeah. You gotta give me the ball back. Give me the ball back.
So I mean, it's one of those where it's like there's a lot of stories on the East side that are very intriguing. Like I know, like the West is just so cluttered. So by the time we record next week, like these Western Conference standings could be way different than they are right now.
Oh,
but like
100%.
the East is pretty much cemented, minus like Detroit and Milwaukee. Like that, those are really the only two teams that could probably flip flop each other, pending any major meltdown from anybody else. But I don't see that happening. I mean, Pacers are 3 games up in the 4. Knicks are 3 games up in the 3. So it's like nothing's really going to happen between those guys. But like that 4-5 could flip flop. And the Knicks have beaten Milwaukee. We've handled Milwaukee a little bit. So like they've been dealing with some injuries. They're not as dangerous to me. So yeah, I'd rather take the Bucks than the Pistons, bro. Pistons scared the shit out of me. Not even gonna lie.
There you go. Good stuff, man. All right. That's all we have, man. I can't believe we stretched an hour out of this. That's crazy. Hey, Paul, we got the gift of gab. That's what I can say. We just got the gift of
Hey,
gab.
man. It is. Sometimes when you don't have a script and you're just like, hey, let's record a show, we're here, bro.
We
like I mentioned last week, I started collecting trading cards and some of my stuff started coming in. So, I'm big on Malik Neighbors. I got me a whole bunch of Malik Neighbors rookie cards, hoping he has a nice season. So we're locking in here. And then I got coming off of his Eastern Conference, Player of the Week. I got a couple Palos here.
P5.
Little P5 rookies. I got some more coming in. I got some stuff I got to get to you. I got some stuff for you that I want to send to you there. So I got some magic stuff I got to get to you. But yeah, man, it's sports is sports, baby. We're sporting out here.
We are sporting, man. I love it, Paul.
Sport ball.
Way to put out here. All right, man. Well, hey, let's wrap this bad boy up, man. Make sure y'all stay tuned with me and Paul. I know we got a podcast in within the same week, but hey, we'll be back at it next week. I think we got the play-in tournament, so we'll probably recap that once that lock in, get that set up, recap what happens during this crazy NCAA March Madness run, which has been fantastic. NFL draft is around the corner, so a lot of
end of the month. We got like 3 more weeks, I think, to the NFL draft.
Yeah, dude, we got a lot of content coming on, man. So we gonna be in here, man. We're gonna try to get some people in here, try to get Brad and Kevin on for the NFL draft, see they're available, get some stuff in there. We'll be locked in for sure. So, but make sure y'all keep it tuned in with us. We'll get that content out there to you. You can follow the podcast page at BOC Podcast. Mr. Mac, where can they follow you at, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm on X at _Paul_Mac and on Instagram at ThePaulMac520.
Absolutely. You can find me at _CP on X, Twitter, whatever you call it nowadays. You can also get the podcast at TikTok, getting some moves over there at BOC Podcast. We're getting some moves here at the YouTube Shorts as well, man. So you can get us at BOC Podcast. Got a few new subscribers. Shout out to that. We're 10 away from 100, so we're slowly climbing up. We just doing the grind. So hey, me and Paul like to call it the grind house. We're gonna grind out.
That's it, bro. We're just getting it out there. We're gonna get content out to you whether you want to see it or not.
Exactly, man. So now we appreciate you guys tapping in for sure. You can also go to Facebook, typing in Balls Not Court Podcast. Instagram is BOC Podcast. We start posting there getting some insights. So we appreciate you guys looking in, tapping in for that. But yeah, man, you can get the podcast where you got before. You can also check us at radiate.fm. We're on there every Thursday, radio station that we are on Internet Radio. So keep tapping in with us there. We appreciate y'all listening over there as well. But yeah, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Fantastic doing this, and we'll get all this stuff recap up, man. P-Mac, anything else you got to add, sir, before we out this mofo?
Nah, bro. See y'all in a week. Like I said, we're back on the schedule now, bro. We're chilling.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. All right, guys. Well, speaking for Paul, Matt, this is Cortez Paul, Ball Not Court Podcast, BLC Podcast. Take care.
Peace.